The fear of failure is the enemy of success. If we fear to fail, we'd never succeed to be on here. But we're on here now, and so we just want to thank you for hanging in there with us. Okay, we got a good show. I don't want to take up too much more time. We have a really good show. We got a good guest on here tonight. But before we go there, you know what I want you to do every week. We want you to do what? Come on now, you know what it is. We want you to like, follow, share, and subscribe. It is the lifeblood of all podcasts, not just mine. I'm not going to be selfish about it, not just mine, because there are a lot of other good podcasters out there got some really good stuff. All right, so just like, follow, share, and subscribe, and keep the world moving in this direction. And because we want you to be a part of the podcast, if you would like to be considered as to be on the show, the future show, listen, just email drkidspeaks@gmail.com, and we will accommodate you. All right, you can be on camera or you can be off camera. We'd rather have you on camera. You see a beautiful smile, you see your affect, see all that kind of stuff like that. But otherwise, and we'll just take you because the info is more important. We're going to shake some things up now, get those sediments off the bottom of our brain so we're not atrophying. This is where you begin to think and we begin to tap into some stuff. We are dealing with things that impacts relationships, even though it may not look like that. Micro, two people, macro, community. Okay, so this is where we are. All right, thank you so much. Tonight, this evening, we have a great show for you. We have before we get to that, look at this here, look at this here. Can you see that? The t-shirt, we have a store. We have a store, and it's your t-shirt, and it says, "The fear of failure is the enemy of success." What a beautiful t-shirt. What a wonderful message. The fear of failure is the enemy of success, and you can get that for $27.77. All right, $27.77. It's black. It's beautiful, and if you just go on the website, you can go on Shake Up 37 for 37%. Limited offer still going on. Okay, Shake Up. Use the code to Shake Up 37 for 37% off. There's a limited time offer. You can go on there, and please go on there. It's good. Wear it. The message is wonderful. So I just want to thank you so much. And so now, I was running ahead of myself, but that's not unusual. I do that a lot, So I'm glad I got an engineer back there who's able to keep me from falling. Hey, how about that? All right. So now we're gonna go into this. Got a great show for you. We got a good person here, and I'm gonna bring him on, and we're gonna do like I always do, get my guests to introduce themselves because they know more about themselves and what they want to say about themselves than I do. Okay, so guests, crash the show. Come on, let's go. Come on in. There. Hey, look at that man. Oh man, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
You're
Thank you for having me.
Man, I'm so glad you decided to join us today, man.
I appreciate you. I'm glad I could be able to be here. I always say I'd rather be seen than viewed any time.
Hey, man, that is such a true statement. A lot of people say that rather be seen than viewed. Well, guess what? We're seeing you, but guess what? A lot of people are viewing you, but not in that way. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of people are seeing you, man. So you're kind of coming at us in both ways, and so we really want to thank you. Hey, listen, man, welcome. Listen, I know you got a lot to talk about, and you got something very unique that you do. And I got some questions I got to ask you about that, but not yet. Why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself to the world, and whatever you want to tell us, and I prompt you as we go along. Okay, go right ahead,
sure,
sir.
Not a problem. Good evening, everyone. My name is David Hopper. I'm a teaching artist, two-time author, credible messenger, mentor, filmmaker, as well as a spoken word artist. I'm also a co-founder of an organization called Nana's Living Room, and Nana's Living Room is an organization that teaches young people and young adults film and photography through experiential learning, amongst other things. But that's that's what I do for the most part.
All right. And this is BU Unstoppable. All right. Underscore. Then we have David right there. So listen, you can pick him up at that if you just go online and just grab him on that. Also, David, so that's you. That's you. That's what you do. So why don't you tell us about who you are now? How about that?
Sure. I love that question. Some people get that confused. I am first and foremost God-fearing man, husband, father of four. I'm actually a formerly incarcerated individual as well, so I'm a big advocate on reentry and criminal system change. I'm a lover of sports, mainly basketball, and all around person who just loves to have fun. I love to laugh. I love life, and
Okay.
that's who I am.
All right. I gotta say this, man. I gotta give you your props right up front. You came right out and you said, "Listen, I was incarcerated," and that's nobody's business. You don't have to tell us that. You don't have it written across your forehead. It's not on your chest. It's not in your voice. It's not in your eyelashes, your beard. It ain't nowhere like that. But you just came right out and said that. So, what is it about you that would make you say that?
That it took a long time to get comfortable with that and to own that. So I'm at a space now where I'm extremely comfortable with saying that, and I use that. I don't use that as an opening line, but when I'm in certain spaces, I let it be known. Wherever I'm in a space where I think is going to help, I
Okay.
disclose. And I
Yeah.
think this is a space where your viewers, people that's watching, people that may be listening, understanding what you do and the greatness you do in the world, I believe your listeners and your viewers will probably benefit from me saying that.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's about redemption, hope, and determination.
Yeah. Someone just put, I don't know if we can put that back up there because I really want you to see that. Listen, it's I love that you didn't leave that incarcerated portion out. Takes strength to say that. Strength. Thank you, my brother. How would you like? Thank you, 6'5", 240. How would you like to respond to that? Because
Um, First, thank you for stating that, and that is actually one of the reasons it took me so long to actually talk about it or be open about it, because from my perspective, I was weak, I was broken, um, I was traumatized by it, ashamed of it. All the stigmas that come with it, the stereotypes that come with it, I held on to when I came home, and it took a lot of work to um, shed all of that. I wrote in my book. It's a line in my book where I say, a black man has to shed 1,000 pounds of pressure to get an ounce of relief.
ooh, ouch.
And
What you mean
that
by that? What do you mean by that?
it's so much on our shoulders. And sometimes, don't get me wrong, sometimes we put a lot of stuff on ourselves, right? Just
Yeah.
trying to be Superman.
Right.
So on top of that, or beneath that, we have the 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 real world experiences, the real world finger pointing. Once we walk out our apartment, our house, our wherever we dwell, one of the main things that we focus on, and I'm gonna generalize it as a black man, is getting back home, right? So that's a pressure on its own. Just once you step out your house in America as a black man, it's a pressure to get back home alive.
Mm, mm.
So that's really where that comes from. And just knowing that there are a lot of stereotypes. Like I said, there's a lot of people that don't like us just for the color of our skin, just the way we walk, just for the swag that we have, just for the confidence. Right now, it's like we're looked down upon or crucified, if you will, because of our confidence. Who are we to be confident? That's one of the reasons I really love Maya Angelou's I Rise. Even though it's written for women, I identify with that because it's a person's greatness that people try to strip from them. And as a black man, as a man walking these streets in America, they want to, they hope to, they pride themselves on breaking or stripping us of our pride. So just being confident in yourself, you become a target.
That's right. That's right. Thank you for that. Listen, I like the way you framed it up front to say, listen, I was incarcerated. You didn't say I was a crook. You didn't say I am a crook. I am a gangster. I am all of this stuff. And by not saying that, what I think you did it really beautifully. You made a distinction between your behavior and who you are. And you focusing a lot on who you are. And I like that. So you're not talking about, listen, because I did that and went and was incarcerated, that's who I am. No. You're saying, no, this is who I am. So can you talk about your amness? And then we're going to get into the other stuff, the videography, photography that you do.
Sure. You said, can I talk about the
amness, who you are, when you look into the mirror of your life?
Yes.
Because it's pretty clear to me the way you said it, that there is more to you than the fact that you were incarcerated. That's a behavior got you there. But just because a behavior got you there, I'm thinking that you're saying to yourself, but I am.
Definitely.
I am. Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you. When I was in prison, I was in art theater workshop, and one of the activities to get into the workshop was you had to write a piece, a 2-minute monologue of who you are. And that's when I really started understanding who I was, not what I do, not what people thought I was, not what people put on me, but who I really was. And that's why in every introduction I have, I always say, only thing I missed this time as I'm talking is that I'm the third son of Michelle. But I always say I'm a God-fearing man. I'm a father, I'm a husband, because that's who I am. And even in my days of doing illegal activities, I was still this person, right? It just happens that my choices drove me down, or I walked down this path, I like to say, because a lot of times I'm gonna time out too, because a lot of times in the community and my circle, and I get flack for this when we have these debates, and they say, they took me away, or they kidnapped me, talking about the police and the system. I'm like, but how many of us was actually throwing bricks? We throwing rocks at the precinct, talking about, yo, come get me. Then when they come get me, we talking about they took me. No, we volunteered for this, right?
Ooh.
So wow. I get flack for that, but it's cool because I'm a stand on mine. But that's the reality of it. So when I was out there making choices that can land me in the penitentiary or land me in the cemetery, I was still a father. I was still a husband. I was still these things. It just so happened the choices I took led me to prison. And I'm not a criminal. I may have did some criminal behavior. I might have did a criminal act, but in my heart of hearts, in my mentality, I'm not a criminal. It's some things I did that, right now I do, but like, damn, I wish I didn't do that. But on hindsight, it's some things where I did that was maybe not a great choice at that moment, but still got me to the point I am now. And I love who I am now.
I really thank you for that. Sometimes you gotta fall down to appreciate, the position of standing up. You understand what I'm saying here? And it's
Definitely.
not that, and when you do that, if you don't just keep on doing behavior, that's going to keep you falling, but you can just get up, and I'm glad that you're a man of the word, so you can understand that, when you pray, and the Lord will help you to get, man, the stuff you're talking about right now, man. It sounds like something you should be on a tour talking to. No, I'm serious now, on a tour talking to some of our brothers, because some of our brothers, like you said, we do crazy things and then blame the system. No, we don't need to blame the system. We need to ask ourselves the question: what is it about me that's making me do this, knowing where it can land me? You understand what I'm saying? And and what else could I be doing while I'm doing this that could be helpful to me and to be helpful to other people?
Yes.
We were talking about a community. Thank you, Tracy. Yes, Tracy. Self-reflection and discovery. Yes, Tracy, that's it. Look in the mirror, because when you self-reflect, Tracy, you will discover parts of yourself that you would not if you didn't go into yourself. And Moses asked God, "Who am I?" And see, Moses, on the mountain, Moses said, "Who am I?" You see, God said, "Moses, I want to send you somewhere." He said, "Who am I?" Moses was having a hard time knowing who he was, and I think a lot of people have, having the same hard time. What do you think about that?
No, I definitely do. I definitely. It goes back to that first piece I did when they asked me, who am I? The title of that, I love the young lady, or I believe the Tracy viewer. It is a self-reflection, and the first part of my piece that I did, well, the title of it was Mirror Mirror,
All
and
right.
what I did was um,
Okay, viewers, we're just having a little bit of a technical difficulty. Hang in there with us, and our guests will be right back. Our guests will be right back. But until then, listen, our guest today is David, and he's been telling us about, just about his life. What an incredible story, and a man that rose up from, if I can use this word, like the gutters of life, because he did some things that he should not have done. We don't need to know what those things are, but like you said, it landed him in the penitentiary, but he did do self-reflection. Thank you for that, Tracy. We give us self-discovery when we reflect. And the thing about self-reflection, Tracy, and others who are listening, is that we are not depending on other people to tell us who we are. We are. So yeah, we're still having a little bit of difficulty. You want to bring him back on, or he just jumped on, but that jumped off again. Uh, Here he is. Okay, David. David, thank you so much, man, for coming back on and for hanging in there with us despite the difficulties that we're having. Okay.
no problem. I'm here for it. I'm not gonna let the devil ain't gonna shake this table. Um,
Oh man, I like your energy, man. I really do. I love your energy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was saying I had a gentleman at the far end of the room, and when I said, "Who am I?" the mirror, the guy in the back of the room said, "Who do you want to be?" So it was like 2 or 3 lines, and then the mirror would talk back to me.
Uh-huh.
So I'm up at the front of the stage. The room is black. You can't see the person in the back. And then I start saying, "Oh, the mirror is talking to me." And I go into the whole piece about actually seeing who I am. And that was like my breakthrough. That was like, because they actually made you um, look into yourself. And if you want to get into the workshop, you had to do some extraordinary, because they wouldn't let anybody into it. So you really had to dig deep. And that's one of my first steps into my healing, um, and that helped me a lot. And from that point, of course, more work was done, but that was the probably the first part of my healing process, and coming to grips with who I was, that made them decisions to land me in the place I was at.
Mm. Ooh, thank you so much, sir. We're having our guest tonight is David. He's got an incredible life story. He's just giving us a taste of that. And if he didn't write it out, he should. And maybe at some other point you can come on back and we can talk some more about that part. But anyhow, you have this you have this thing that you do with photography, videography. Can you tell us what you do? Then I got some questions to ask you about that. Okay, tell us what you do. What is it?
Sure. So what we do, it's my wife and I. We co-founded organization named Nana's Living Room. So I always keep my merch on, right?
All right.
So Nana's Living Room, we have a few programs, workshops under the umbrella, but our official workshop or program that we have is Nana's Living Room is MAP, which is Movies, Art, and Photography, MAP, and that's for individuals, the young ones, fourth grade and under. So we would say anywhere from 12 and under. We give a program which is Movies, Art, and Photography, and then for teenagers, 13 and up, we have Math, which is MAPH, which is Movies, Art, Photography, and Healing. And with that, we bring in the restorative justice model, and we sit everybody. We do the circles. We talk about conflict resolution. We talk about empowerment. Talk about building community, what community looks like. My wife, she is a professional photographer. So not we come in and we just talk about, what we can do and what we would like to see, but we bring the camera equipment into the facility, whether it's a public school or community center, a university. We bring in the camera equipment, and then we actually have a 6 to 8 week curriculum. So we also have like 1 hour uh, short workshops. But what we do is we bring the cameras into the community, to the place, and we teach the basics of photography. And with that, we let them know. My wife is more of the quote person, so she has all the quotes that parallel with focus and camera stuff. So pretty much her whole spiel is about staying focused, getting developed, all of the things that parallel to photography. And it makes photography something interesting versus we're going in there giving them a lecture. And soon we bring the cameras out, no matter what age group we at, what location we're in. Once the camera equipment come out, everything changes. People start paying attention. They ask questions, and we try to but we use photography as a way to combat violence. And a lot of times, we as in the community, we as in these organizations, we tell the young people, we tell the young adults, hey, stop being in the corner. Hey, put the guns down. Hey, don't do this. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll stop, but what you gonna give me to stop? Right? So it's like, all right, well, what can we give y'all to stop? Where's the trade-off, right? And our trade-off is we give them skill, we give them a safe place, and we give them something fun to do. And with that, hopefully, we empower them and we give them some love where they can love themselves. And then loving yourself, we hopefully want them to send that love out externally. And that's how we build love in the community. Even in our classes, we don't let them use slang, right? And we, every time, especially with the young people, they're coming, they say, oh, the ops, the ops, the ops. So for those that don't know, the ops is the opposition. And that comes from one of the video games, and rappers, they magnified it. So now they 12 years old, 11 years old, talking about my ops. I'm like, you don't have an op. You in school. Like, your op is your homework.
Go on. Come on now.
Right?
Yeah.
So we understand the terminology and the slang. We always young, but we get to a point. We at a point where we make them describe what an op is, right? For one example, we say, well, what's an op? And they say, oh, it's my enemies there. I said, okay, cool. What makes them an enemy? So, oh, we beefing. Okay, cool.
What's that mean?
Right.
What's beef?
What's beef, right? So,
Yeah.
oh, I don't like him. Pause.
Okay.
You don't like somebody? Yeah. The world not gonna like you. That mean that don't mean you got beef with the world. That just means you have a difference of opinions. So we go there with them and we break that barrier, we break that down and try to pour into them what these words mean and give them a different definition or alternative that they can use. And usually it works. Usually it works, you know, and we get their mind to open up and to see like the tongue is very powerful. The tongue is very powerful.
Yeah.
So that's the things that we do, and we use film and photography to as a vehicle. Right? We're here to do the work. We're here to get to the work, and the way we get to the work is using film and photography and the cameras.
All right, beautiful. Oh man, it's some great stuff. I love all those shots and those short videos that we had up there. Seemed like you're a very busy man doing a lot of good things, reaching people of in their vulnerable age and stage, and trying to move them forward to doing things like you're doing. You know, you're a good mentor, mentoring these young men. So where's your area of focus, or where's your base? Where are you? What's your zip code? You know, that we can say, hey, this is my territory. Like right here, this is what I operate out of. You know, because then you have this nucleus of people that you focus on, because you can't do all of America. You know, so that
Right.
I'm going to operate here. So where is that? What
Oh, we in the Bronx and Harlem.
The old D train, huh?
Catchment area, yes. So we frequent the South Bronx, which is the Lower Bronx, from the Bronx Zoo. If those familiar with in New York City, the Bronx Zoo area, from the Bronx Zoo area all the way down to Harlem. You're talking about East Harlem to 110th Street on Lexington Avenue. If you're familiar with Exodus Transitional Services, which is a great organization that deals with reentry. They do a lot more than reentry, but they started with reentry. They're on the 22nd and First Avenue. So we go all the way across town from the east side of Harlem all the way up to the Bronx, because those areas is areas that my wife and I actually lived in or frequented through our young age, and that's our backyard.
Oh man, you yeah. So what my understanding then is that you kind of staying home to do what? To raise a different quality of men and women to do some work, and this stuff begins at home. Okay. And so the photography now is what? So before you can change something outside of yourself, there's got to be a need to change something inside the self. You know, yeah, there's got to be a need. You know, you talk about this mirror and this reflection. So I'm taking you there. And here it is. We listen, as people, we don't change things that we like or we enjoy. We don't change those things unless we are forced to do that. It's pretty clear to me that you were not forced to. So where in David, or what in David, you say, hey, listen, David, change must begin here, because. And how would you follow up the because?
Actually, short story. I was 4 years into my incarceration. Actually, I already did. I had some reflection, but this is actually before the art workshop.
Okay.
And this was the first aha moment. I was in the yard with one of my comrades, which is now probably one of my closest friends to this day. He was younger than me. He about 7 years younger than me. So at that time, I was 33, maybe 34, and he was 28, maybe. But long story short, he said it was actually the week I would have been going home if I would have took the first plea. And I was down on myself. I said, man, if I should be going home today. I should have took the first plea. He said, damn, what would you be doing if you went home right now? They came and unlocked the gate, said, yo, you going home. What would you do? I said, I'm going back to the block. They owe me. Like, this is what I'm going back. I'm going to get it. They took a lot of my life from me. I'm going back, and I'm going to get what they owe me. And he looked at me, with no malice, no strange face. He just looked at me like a face of understanding, like, okay. And he said, I'm gonna head out. And he walked off. But when he walked off, the look that he gave when he walked off, it was almost like disappointment. And I was still in my head, so I walk around a little bit. But what's profound is that he's actually in prison for perjury, and he was already locked up for 7 years. So he was doing everything in his power to get home. And here I was talking about, they let me out. I'm going home and I'm going to throw more bricks and I'm going to do all this illegal stuff. And it just hit me like, damn, I'm going home. I will go home and basically risk my freedom again. And this young brother in here trying to get to go home off of a perjury charge. And, I felt bad for myself. I was like, damn, what kind of idiot are you? And this is me doing self-talk. And that was like the first moment I was like, oh, no, I got to change. Like, what the, I started really talking to myself. And the because is because, do you really want to come back here? Is what you going out to chase worth the second part of your life? And I was like, nah, I can't come back here. I can't come back here. And that's my truth. Like, it was because I don't want to go back. I'm not going back. It got to a point in prison, a lot of times we okay our environment to get through it. So some of the sayings are, oh, this ain't no time. I could do this on my head. I'm built for this. Never say never. Never say you're not coming back. You never know what's gonna happen out there, and all these things. And these are the things that we subscribe to when we were in prison. And once I got to that point, I stopped. I unsubscribed. Like, nah, that's not me. And I got into a couple of arguments, debates, heated debates. Like, oh, you can't say you never coming back. You never know what's gonna. No, I know. I'm never coming back here. I'm never coming back. They say, oh, well, somebody do something to your kid. I'm telling them, call the police. I meet the police at the house. Like, I'm not coming back. Outside of me actually having a fight for a weapon, and they're gonna use it on me if I don't use it on them, and there's a physical fight going on right there, and I'm praying that once the evidence comes out, that I'll be vindicated and I won't go back to prison, right? So that's my thought, and I'm not going back. And my because is because I'm not going back.
You're not going back. Oh,
I'm not going back.
Yeah, I see that. I love that, and not only that, it's really because you're basically talking about your worth as a person, who you are, and then the work that you do with all these young kids, because you're not going back, and you demonstrate that to yourself. You're telling them you don't have to go back to go back. Just don't go in the first time.
That's right.
You understand? And I like that. So So there's a piece of you that is doing more than just photography. You are giving them a I think a lesson on life. What's it like when these young kids who could be other places doing other things? Okay, when they begin to graduate and get their certificate and get all this kind of stuff, what happens to you deep on the inside? What do you feel when you're looking into the eyes of listen, potential doctors, lawyers, preachers, teachers, professionals, astronauts, oceanographers? What happens to you when you look into their eyes, man? Knowing where you came from, where you visited, where you visited. Let me put it like that. Where you visited.
I love that.
Yeah. Where you visited.
Two things. One, I'm gonna say it now because I forget. The oceanographer. I met a young lady maybe like a year ago, and she said she was working to become an oceanographer, and I looked at her with the spaciest look. I'm like, yeah, what is that? And then she explained. So you saying that right now is like tripping me out, because and the young lady, she's a young lady of color. She wasn't African American, but I want to say, well, I'm not gonna say because I don't want to mess it up. But she definitely said she's studying to be an oceanographer, and that's like that is so cool. That is so dope. But
yeah, but hold a second. See, and I'm glad you had that encounter, because that look you had, like, yeah. See, a lot of us think that is above us. You know what I'm saying? Man? And it's
right.
not that it's above us. It's just that we ain't reached there yet. You see the difference here, and we can reach there.
Yes. Stand on the shoulders of giants. You get there. That's right. That's right. That's right. So yeah, that's great. And the last class that we did a conflict resolution. We do conflict resolution workshops as well.
All right. That's good.
And not only do we do the workshops, we also do a different facilitation where we show them how to facilitate in their own communities, in their own workshops. So not only are we giving them the tool for them to help themselves in the hill, but also we teach them how to teach others. So in our last facilitators workshop, the gentleman that I tapped as a mentor sent his son to take the class. And all the kids are special in their own way. All the young people are special in their own way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But when I seen my mentor's son name on the registration list, that really touched me, because that meant that the person I looked up to, or I look up to and I go to for advice, believes enough in me to send his son to learn some things. And that probably is one of the greatest feelings ever. And that's for all the young people. When I look at them, at the last graduation, the completion ceremony, just them sticking it through and actually completing is a great thing. And it's it gets me emotional, because knowing the place I visited and just my own hardships. And I remember having older guys pouring into me, and I'm like, man, get out of here, I don't want to hear that. And thinking that guys that's 30 is super old, and I'm 16, and for me to be way over 30 and I have 16, 17-year-olds calling me unc and OG, and asking me for advice and really adhering to it, that's a feeling I really can't explain. I take some kudos for it, but it's definitely God's work, because they say, oh, how can you be so calm in situations? Or I'm like, oh no, I have my moments.
Yeah.
But those are the moments that I pray the hardest, right? I unplug and I recharge. But it's a feeling that I probably would never get used to, but it's a great feeling. No matter what kind of monetary gain I get, the feeling or the knowing that I actually help someone, that's dope. I used to actually clown my older cousin, because he did community work for years with young people, And I was just like, why are you wasting your time with these little dudes, man? Like, they all knuckleheads. That was my thinking before. And he said, yo, man, we could just get to one of them. You know, I did my job. I was like, man, I don't want to hear that. And that's so corny. And years pass, and me now in my space, that is my mantra. Because I understand that one can lead to 1,000. That one can lead to 100. So that's my thing. If I can get in, you know, in contact and speak to one of these young people and they have an understanding, they can change their perspective or their mindset, raise their, you know, raise their awareness, then I did my job. And that great feeling.
Oh man, that is amazing. What a wonderful story, Kawana. Thank you so much. Amazing story. Just tell people that we're having some good times here. But here's a question that, and I don't know if you had this or not, but where somebody would say, and here you are trying to pour into these young people, doing what I call like creating a relay, of such. Oh, everybody's passing it on, and you are creating this relay. Have you ever had a young person to say to you, well, I can't do this, man. I want to quit doing this. I don't want to come back. Or, if you've had that, what was it like to hear that? If you had that, and how did you overcome that in you, and get them to challenge themselves to say, because like I said, man, you're just a visitor somewhere. And listen, sometimes you have to visit somewhere to find out who you are.
This is true. That's the hard reality of it. That's the hardest reality of doing this type of work, doing this process. I try to remove the word work, because for me it gives a different connotation. So I like to use process. But last semester, 2 semesters ago, not the semester that just ended, the semester before, I had a young guy. We was in one of the schools up here in the Bronx, and we go around the room. We ask the kids, what y'all want to do when y'all graduate. What you looking forward to. The regular questions, the check-in questions, and I'm going around the room talking to the young people, and I forgot how we started the conversation, but he said, I'm gonna be a bank robber. I said, you want to be a what? He said, I want to rob banks. He said, once I graduate, I'm robbing banks. I'm going back to my country, and I'm going to live. I said, oh, okay, I can dig it. I said, well, contrary, to what you see here, when you're looking at me, my pops was a bank robber. So he like, no, he wasn't. So, he go back. He wasn't. You lying, you capping. I'm like, no, my pops was a bank robber. Like, everybody in the neighborhood know my pops. My pops robbed banks. Like in the 60s, that was the hustle. Right? They was robbing banks. So I said, listen, how much money you gonna get out the bank? Like, what's your number? Whatever crime you do, you gotta have a number, right? So this is me talking to him. So he said, oh, I think he said like 2,000. It was less than 10,000. So I said, okay. So how many of y'all gonna rob the bank? So it's gonna be me and my man, gonna be like 3 of us. I said, so if y'all get away, you gotta split that up. He like, yeah. I said, all right. And how long that's gonna last? He said, oh, I don't know, until I need more. I said, so you gonna go rob another bank? He said, yeah. I said, how many banks you think you're gonna have to rob? He said, I don't know. I said, see, that's where you're wrong at. You don't even have a plan. I said, at least have a plan, right? So we joking, we laughing, but he's actually thinking. So we go through this whole spill, and he's dead set. He's gonna be a bank robber. I said, all right, little bro. You know what? I gave you my spill. I love you. I gave him a pound. I told him, look at me in my face, right? I gave him a pound and a half a hug. I said, no, look at me. So he looking at me. You know how teenagers are. They half look at you. I said, yo, I love you, man. I really love you. Like, I don't want nothing to happen to you, man. I love you. He's like, all right, okay. So I tell him when I walk in, I tell him my name. I say my nicknames. I say, y'all can call me anything but teacher, right? Don't call me no damn teacher, right? So we have our moment. Then he said, "All right, teacher." So at that moment, I knew I got him, right? Because he trying to do everything to disrupt what I just told him, right? So he called me teacher. I said, "All right, cool." Long story short, the next semester, which is last semester, I run into him in the hallway. We there doing another class. I run into him. I said, "Yo, what up?" He look at me funny. I said, "Act like you don't remember me." So he like, "Nah, I remember you, teacher," right? So we laugh. I said, "So what's up? You graduate next semester, right?" He like, "Yeah." I said, "What you want to do?" He said, "Oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that." He had all these plans. I said, "Oh." "Oh, you ain't robbing banks no more?" He said, "Nah, I ain't doing that shit." I said, "All right, cool. We good." Gave him a 5, have a hug, sent him on his way. And I'm sure I can't bet $1,000 on it, but I'm sure that moment of me talking to him resonated at some point, right? Because even one of his little homeboys was like, so I'm looking around, I said, "Yo, he serious?" So the little homeboy said, "Yeah, he been talking about that since 9th grade. He want to be a bank robber." I said, "All right." Right? So to answer your question, I just dive into them. I still pour into them. I figure out a way. That's my process. We have to figure out a way to tap into them, reach them. It has to be something. If a little bit, even you, because a lot of time, even as a young person myself, I'm gonna push people away to show you that you don't love me. I'm gonna push you away to show that you don't care, that you're only here for a moment. You're only here to do your speech and that's it. So understanding that when they push and push, I just keep holding on to them, like, not literally, figuratively. Like when they push, I just hug them. They push, I hug them. They push, I show love. Right? They push. I I was in a group of young people. We walking down the block. They got the block sidewalk locked down. And the older lady walked by. She's saying, "Excuse me." They just ignoring her. So I said, "Yo, man, get out the way, man. Let the elder pass." So he looking me up and down. I see that's the problem. Y'all think everything is beef. Everybody's your hot. You're out. So they look at me. They like, "Yo, who you? Who you?" So I said, "I'm hot, man. I'm the conflict resolution counselor in the school." They like, "Oh, I heard about you. I heard you. I heard about you. I heard about you." So I said, "Yo, man, relax, man. Be easy out here, man. Don't hurt nobody." So one or two of them, they say, "Yeah, all right, cool, cool." Then another one's like, "All right, bye, bye." I said, "All right." I said what I have to say, man. Y'all be safe out here, right? So it's all that, the animosity, you know, you don't know me. We're gonna get that. I expect that. It's just when it happens. For me, I try to be quick on my toes as possible. Still throw them some love. Still throw them some light. And leave with a smile. And next time they see me, they might be like, "Yo, we get a hard time. He never break." Right? And sometimes it becomes a game where I get that interaction. But as long as I get the interaction, I'm good, because I'd rather them interact with me than take that aggression or stress out on somebody that's just walking by. So it's cool. It's what I signed up for.
Yeah, man. Ooh, man, this is some deep stuff you're getting into here, man. But I don't know if they can put the last. There's a comment there. I think it was from Tracy uh, or 6'5" said that moment with that young man saved his life. Ooh, ooh, how would you respond to that? Thank you, thank you, 6'5". How would you respond to that?
That's powerful. Uh, I got into this because of that, though, because of that statement. Like, I'm hoping I can save some lives, and that's one of the things. One of my other mentors, he said, "Yo, we out here, we real live superheroes. He has a t-shirt, a sweatshirt that say Black Superhero. Said all superheroes don't wear capes." And as modest or humble, you know, as laid back as we try to be, the people that do this work, yourself included, I think that's what we get into it for, is to save lives. We hope our the little, uh faith of our mustard seed faith is
Hmm.
that we save some lives out here.
Yeah.
So when things like that happen, I'm extremely grateful. Like I said, I pray. I thank I thank God. I try not to hold on to it though, because then but not you, but that's when me and I seen people become heady, and that's when it's like, you know what I do for a living? I'm out here saving these kids, and then you lost it. Like once that happens, we lose it. So I try to know the work, know the process I'm doing and the change I'm creating, but also know there's a bigger um, there's something bigger than actual me. So I try to keep that balance. So I understand it, I recognize it, and I keep going with it. Because once I hold on to it and look for accolades and start telling, pat myself in the back, and then that's when it becomes heady, and then God's gonna show you, He's gonna humble you. Like, that wasn't you, beloved. That wasn't you, right? And so that's how I answer that.
That's how. Okay. Oh, let's see. LNG. I love the method you use to capture the attention of the students, and instead of telling them what they say they want to is wrong, you leave them thinking, and you show them acceptance and love. Now, thank you for that, LNG. Now, she saw that in you. She saw that capacity for you to do that in you, and you demonstrate that, not acting it out, but you demonstrate that to other young people. Does that statement touch you somehow? As you continue on your journey.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Like I said, that's one of the things where, for myself, I have an issue. I just did a men's retreat like 2 weeks ago, and it was a part in there where you had to accept um your accolades and your flowers, because a lot of us don't, and we're shy away from it. So they made us sit in the chair, and they asked the circle, what do you see in this man? What do you see in this king? And the people, they said, hey, I see resilience. I see, whatever it is. And then you had to receive it. You had to receive all that energy. And you would think, hey, oh, that's nothing, yeah. But that's one of the hardest things, to actually receive your flowers and to accept, the greatness that you have in you. And it is hard for me. That's a struggle, because I love doing what I do, and I love, because it's two things. One side, because people didn't help me, so I want to give help. Then there's the second side, for the slim, the slim amount of people that did help me. I want to help people. So it's that, it's that in me. So my passion, it's like I got a two-sided passion for those who didn't get it, for those who didn't give it, and those who did give it. I'm that person that's good. So I take the good with the bad. So the people that didn't give me love, or didn't show me, what I think, what I thought I needed when I was growing up, or threw me a lifeline when I thought I needed it, you know, when I see those individuals, and I see me and these young people, it makes me go that extra step. And I know for a fact, when I was 16, 17, 15, even 14, only thing I want between 11 and 14, all I want to do is play basketball. My mother probably came to like 2 basketball games. My uncle came to most of my basketball games. Nobody else in my family came to basketball games. I was raised by all women, so their interest in basketball was minimum to none. So I know what I needed in the moments, and what I wanted, what I desired. And a lot of these kids want the same thing, right? They just need or want, desire somebody to love them, somebody to support them. And that's all of this comes from that space. It's just support. It's just how I do it. I do it differently than somebody else. And
Mm.
that's what I think people see in me, is that it's the support. Like, damn, he really, you can put it in a one word. It's like, oh, David, Hop, he does these things, he do things. Really, you break it down to one word, really, it would be support and love, right? So that's really what it is for me. And like I said, I just try not to get heady about it. I know the work. I know the process I do, and I know for a fact that it works because it worked for me.
All right. Listen, man, I'm not gonna keep you much longer, but I gotta say this, and I really do thank you, man. You've been so open and so honest and so straightforward, man. And you really, really. But like Ellen G was saying, well, it saved, or somebody said, well, it saved their lives. And I want to go back to this and use this word. This young fella wanted to be a bank robber, but you interrupted that mindset, right? And he is going to become something other than a bank robber. Okay. Now, let me just say this here. I don't know what you wanted to be when you did something that was wrong, but the Lord used that to get your attention, and it interrupted a lifelong career of doing those things, and he took you somewhere where he could have your full attention. Now this is just me saying this, that's what I think. So he interrupted your interruption because your lifestyle was an interruption of life, an interruption of your life. And so when you said that about this young fella, I'm saying, yeah, this interruption and being incarcerated might have done you more good than anything else.
I agree. I always say that. It's like the cliche, right? Jail saved me. Like, nah, it really did. Like, because I swear, I kid you not, I used to hear that. Man, that's the thing. That's what growth is. That's maturity. When perspectives change, when you know who you were, and your thought patterns and your perspectives to who you are now. Like back then, I used to hear the guys like, "Oh, life, prison changed my life." I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to hear this bull crap, man. Get that. Like, you scared to death. That's all. You a sucker, right? That's how I'm looking like. You's a sucker. You ain't built for it." Like, I tell the young people, like, even like in a lot of my circles, and we talk. I tell them like, I'm nowhere near a sucker. I'm not the toughest, but I'm nowhere near meek. And prison is just not a place you want to be. I've seen the biggest, boldest guerrilla killers fold. And it's not about doing the time. Anybody can do the time physically. But the mental and the emotional pressure, and man, that's different. That is different. And I'm telling you, that's the thing, man. It's just like prison really saved my life. I did some things in that year, that 18 months prior to me being arrested, going to prison. I know if I was on the streets for another year or two, I don't think I would have made it to my 35th birthday. I got arrested when I was 32. I don't think I would have made it to my 35th birthday. I was the most arrogant. I was getting I ain't gonna say a lot of money, because my lot of money may be a little bit of money to somebody else, but I was getting a decent amount of illegal money. I had a 9 to 5. I had a video career was taking off, so I had my foot in a little bit of everything. And at that moment in my life, really, in my mind, I was the man. It was only getting better, but my attitude was getting worse. I was carrying a gun everywhere I went. And I got to a point where I'm like, all right, I'm not going to carry the gun unless I go here. But that was still my mentality. Like, I'm going to need it if I go to this place. Like, well, why do you go to that place if you're going to need the gun? Right? So, yeah, definitely prison, definitely, God seemed to sit me down. He definitely had greater plans for me. And that was my sit down.
Listen, man, I really, really do appreciate you. And I'm so glad that God took you down the road he did so we could have this end result. Not that you need to go down there, but God is so wise. He knew exactly where he needed to take you, and he kept you while you were in prison. You didn't get shanked. You didn't get none of that kind of stuff. You know, some people go in prison, they come out, man. I was talking to somebody this past weekend. You know, they say, you know, you can get all the drugs you want in prison. You know, it's in there. You know, and some people go in not using it, they come out, can't stop using it. You know, but God says, in this man, I see something in this man that he has not seen in himself. And, you know, I will reform him, remake him. And now look at the work that you're doing, man. You are a wonderful apostle. You are like a disciple going into places that people don't want to go, and tapping into these young minds, man, that you are truly an interrupter. That's what you're doing. You are interrupting. No, I'm serious now. You are interrupting some serious stuff, because if you didn't do that, maybe one of those same people would turn around and cap you.
That's so true.
You know, so look how many ways you're saving your life. Thank you so much, David. Listen, man, what do you want to leave you know, our listeners with? You know, just give us one thing you want to leave our listeners with. I know you got something for us, man.
That's a good one. Without overthinking, I would say a change doesn't come, it's made. Go create your change.
Okay. I like that. You got to do some work into it, right?
That's
if
right.
you want to change, you got to put some work into it. Huh? It's not like deadwood floating downstream. You got to swim upstream like the salmon. Okay, I like that. I love that, man. I love that. I love it, man. Yeah. Look at that group. Yeah, you know, yeah, you're doing some amazing things. You got you some videos, and that's what you do, and you know, and I love it.
That video right there is so crazy with the young kids. I'm coaching a team, a one-day tournament. They was getting blown out by 30.
Wow.
There was another guy that was coaching them. I came. It was chaotic. When I started coaching them, it was the end of the second quarter. So I only got to coach them 2 full quarters. But we talk about transformation and mindset. It was the transformation and mindset in them kids in them last 2 quarters. They lost. They lost, but I'm gonna say we lost. We lost. I think we lost by like 7 or 5. It was single digits. We ain't lose by a lot, but we was down 30. We was getting blown out. They was already quitting. They was fighting against each other. They like, oh, you should be doing this. And I brought them in. I said, yeah, listen, I gave you my pep talk, and it was just like, who are we? 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 Every time it was a dead ball, I just asked me, who are we? Who are we? You know what you're here for. You know what you're here for. I just gave them that. And they played together. And it was like, if we had a couple more minutes, we definitely won that game. And that's that was a powerful moment for me right there.
Thank you, David, man. David Hopper, continue doing that great work you're doing up in the Bronx, Harlem area there, man. Over on the east side, Lexington over there. All right, man. You're doing a great
Thank you
job.
so much. Thank you.
A great job. It was my pleasure having you, and I'd like to have you back again. Thank you for sharing. This is an awesome comeback life experience. Yes, it certainly is. And you know, if you don't mind, man, you know, I might have to do something like David, the interrupter of the interruptions.
I ain't gonna lie. When you said that, I'm like, that fit. I'm gonna have to take that with me. I'm gonna have to liberate that.
Liberate it. Listen.
That's coming with me.
Yeah, take it with you. Listen, man. I don't claim nothing. I don't own nothing, man. Listen, if anything that I might have said tonight that's going to give you some ideas about doing something, man, the interruption, you know, this is what you do. Man. So, all right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks much, man. Thanks much. And I thank you. We're going to get you back because I want to know some more, and you bring some more info about what you're doing and some of the people that you're working with and some of the young people that you're working for. And try to get some testimonials. So you can say get
That'd be cool. Young people
let,
love that.
let them give you the rights to say, yeah, you can go on there. You can change my name a little bit, but I used to do this.
Yes. That'd be
And
cool.
see, because when you do that from real people, okay, you're gonna be saving people's lives. You're gonna be giving parents hope that their young kids who are acting crazy can really come through this stuff. You know what I'm saying here?
Yes.
And that's good, man. That's good. So I really do thank you. Thank you. All right, so there you have it, friends and family and everybody who hung in there with us this evening. Mr. David Harper, man, what a life story. What a story he told. And he's just an amazing young man. He visited the place, and when he was in this place, it changed his life to where he is now, not breaking things, but he is recreating things in people's lives and teaching young people how to do things that is formidably important in their growth experience. All right, so thank you so much. And let me tell you this again. You see the fear of failure on the back wall there. We have a t-shirt for you. We have a t-shirt that we want you to go out and purchase. It doesn't cost a whole lot, and it says the fear of failure. It's a black t-shirt and it's going to look good on you. It really will. No, you get Shake Up 37 for 37% off, limited time offer. Use the code Shake Up 37 for 37% off, limited time offer. And when you go on there, all the particulars about your size and everything else will be on there, okay? So do that. And while you're doing that, we want you to do what else do we want you to do? We want you to like, follow, share, and subscribe. Like, follow, share, and subscribe, because we want to do that so we can grow our audience, and we see you again next week. And while we're seeing you again next week, what we'd like for you to do is to consider, like David, being a part of the show. There is nothing about you that is not worthwhile to be stated and to hear yourself. And see what happens when you start talking these things through. You're really doing your own kind of a self-motivation, self-therapy. Some people self-motivation. When you think from where you came to where you are to where you want to go, amazing things can happen. Okay, so listen, to those of you that are out there, okay, if you don't want to be on the show, if you know somebody who's got a story to tell, an entrepreneur who's doing something good, a person who's doing something extraordinary, somebody who's doing something that people didn't think he could or she could, that they didn't think they could, please tell them to call, to email. The email, drkidspeaks@gmail.com, because we want to hear about it. We want to hear about these trailblazers we have out there that are just sitting around with their mind atrophying, wondering, where do I go next? Come on the Shake Up with Dr. Kid. That's what you do, okay? So please, if you don't want to be on here, recommend somebody. Tell somebody, hey, there's a show you need to go on, and you can talk about all kinds of stuff. Let them talk about their successes, and let them know this, that your failure is just a success. It's just a stepping stone to your success, because you're not a failure. You might fail at doing something you may not achieve yet, but you are never a failure. Thank you all so much. We will see you again next week on Monday at 6, when we'll have another great show for you. All right. So spread the word. Spread the word. Have yourselves a good night. Bye-bye.